Hello scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am back today with a little filler page for the SpiegelMom Scraps design team blog. So here you can see I have this, I don't know what to call it. I bought a cinch album that was from Heidi Swap, and it came with a cover and a bunch of pages in it and everything. I don't actually have a cinch album system or whatever you call it, so I decided I thought this would be kind of cool to put in my December daily. So here you can see I am trying to cut this up. It's like chipboard or something, and it was just being a pain to cut into. And I didn't want to cut my mat because that Heidi Swap mat isn't a self-healing mat or anything like that. Like, you can't actually cut into it. So I was using my ruler and trying to cut this, and it just wasn't working, and it took forever to get this to come apart. So I need to invest in like a galantine. Is that what it's called? Galantine or galvatine or something like that. One of those big heavy duty cutters, but I don't have one right now. So basically, I just used my X-Acto knife and kept cutting into it until it came off, because it was just a little too long. I wanted it to be closer to the size of the pocket pages that I'm going to be using. So you can see here, I'm measuring it, and I'm going to mark where I need to put the holes. Since this little chipboard cardboard thing was for a cinch album, it didn't have holes already cut into it because the cinch is a binding system, and which I was really happy about because it made it easier for me to be able to put it into my 2-ring binder. So there you can see that I was able to use that heavy duty hole punch that I got from my mother-in-law. I think she got that for me for a birthday quite a few years ago, and I've never used it, so I was super excited to use it. Okay, so now the bottom looks really ugly because of how I had to cut it apart. So here I'm going to use some ribbon that I had in my stash, and I'm just going to glue it on both sides of this album. So I'm going to turn on my hot glue gun, and I'm going to use that. It's going to take a while for it to heat up, so I'm going to kind of do a bunch of other stuff while I wait for it to heat up. So here you can see, I started out thinking this was going to be part of my day 2 layout spread, because I was thinking I would do 2 pages for my day 2, because I think it was 4 photos that I want to use for my day 2, but I'm going to decide to just have this be a filler page, and I'm glad that I did that. I've seen people do filler pages before, and I've never done filler pages in all of the 2 years that I have done December Daily, and so it was kind of fun to do something out of the norm for me. So here you can see I'm messing around and playing with the sequins and the placement and everything, and trying to figure out how I'm going to glue this down and make it so that the sequins don't just go all over the bag, because I was afraid that they would all end up at the bottom of the bag if I didn't glue it around as a circle and like close off the square part of the bag. I don't know if that makes sense. So here you can see I'm cutting down the edges, and I totally should have just cut out a circle. I should have just cut out a circle, would have made my life easier, but I didn't. I like to do things the hard way. So here I'm just, continuing to fold edges and all of that stuff. So I was trying to do it easier on myself, but in the end, I think it took longer. If I would have just cut out a circle a little bit bigger than the hole, then it would have worked out fine. But I'm going to pull out my glue gun, or start using my glue gun here in a minute, and I'm just going to go around in a circle on the chipboard piece, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna start gluing the inside, but then I was like, well, maybe I should open it up. So here you can see I'm cutting it up, and I am going to just glue a circle around where the hole is to hopefully ensure that the sequins don't move out of the circle area. So that seemed to work pretty well. Now here I'm just going to spend some time kind of cleaning up this this bag. I used a medium-sized glassine bag from the SpiegelMom Scraps store. I will try to remember to leave links below for all the products that I used. And the sequin mix that I used was Holly Berries, which is one of my favorite Christmas mixes that she has up right now. And this one was released, I believe, in November, so it is a somewhat new collection or mix, sequin mix. Okay, so now I've kind of cleaned up the bag circle area there, and I know that I want to put a piece of paper behind it. Oh, for some reason I thought I was going to do the paper, but here I am gluing down the ribbon. So I'm going to quickly stick that down there. I'm going to glue some on the bottom, cutting off the ribbon, and then I'm going to glue it to the other side as well. And it was really hot by this point, so you can see I'm like trying to be really, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm trying to be really careful not to burn myself, because my gun is not a safety one. I don't know if you guys have like safety heat guns, but mine gets super hot the longer you leave it on. Okay, so I pulled out this paper that I bought from a Michael's collection, paper collection, and I am using this, I don't know who this was from, but it didn't work. It was a chalk marker, and it didn't work at all. I couldn't see the line. So I pull out my Tim Holtz white gel pen, and I use that, and that works out a lot better. So I am going to just cut it out with my scissors because I couldn't find my my Fiskars cutter. And then I think I'm going to find it, and I'm going to try cutting it down some more. I switched to my fussy cutting scissors because those scissors are so much easier sometimes. Sometimes they are hard, but sometimes they're easy to use. So here I'm just cutting it, making sure that none of the edges will hang over. I didn't want the edges to hang over on the sides. I think this is where I come back with my paper trimmer. So I did want a little bit of the ribbon on that other side to be showing, so I cut it down a little bit on the bottom, and now I'm just going to use my ATG gun to glue it down. I figured that was the easiest way to glue it down, so I'm just going to put glue on all the edges, and then in the middle of around the circle, and then also in the middle of the paper. I was being super generous with my glue. Sometimes I just like to make sure I have enough glue. Okay, so now you can see that this page is mainly, for the most part, done. I have the paper kind of hanging over the edge a little bit, so I'm just trimming that off because I'm just really anal about that. And now I am going to punch out the hole for the paper because the paper didn't have the hole in it. And then I think I'm going to pull out a chipboard set, and I don't remember who it's from. Oh, here, I'm still thinking I'm going to do my day 2. So I printed off my day 2 photos, and I'm going to cut them apart and everything, and I'm just going to decide that I don't want to do it that way. Okay, so now I am back, and here's the Teresa Collins, I think it's the Candy Cane collection. This is a year or two old. I can't remember when this came out, but I really liked this cute little border. It's a chipboard border of candy canes. So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm just going to put it down there on the bottom. And I really like how simple that turns out. Here, I really liked these numbers because they went all the way up to 9. Well, they start at 0 and go up to 9, but they were just a little too big. But I thought it would be so fun to use these numbers. And my idea at this point is to have this be a just a filler page about our favorite movies. And so here I'm trying to figure out which alpha set I want to use. I believe these are from Simple Stories is what I want to say. And I think it's from their DIY Christmas collection, which is also a few years old. So here I am. At first I was thinking that I would have the title of this page be Top 5 Christmas movies or something like that. And then I decided I didn't really like that idea, so I'm gonna just spell out the words favorite Christmas movies. So I'm gonna use the red alpha to write out favorite and movies, and then I'm gonna decide to add the green for the word Christmas. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to fit the whole title all along the top there. So I thought it would be fun to kind of incorporate the title on top of the sequin bag there in the middle. So I'm going to spell out favorite Christmas, and then movies is going to go in the middle of that sequin bag mix, or the sequin pocket, I guess is what it's called. And I really, really, really love how this turned out. So now here I'm just kind of messing with placement, and I'm going to start putting down the word favorite, and I'm going to get to the word Christmas and realize that it's down too far because of where the hole is. And so I'm going to have to move the word favorite up higher to fit the word Christmas in there. And I'm glad that I did that. I do like it being higher on the page better. Okay, so now you can see the title is done, and here I'm going to try using these big numbers once again. One more time, I had to try, and I just decided that wasn't going to work. Here I'm pulling out a couple more embellishment pieces, thinking maybe I could embellish a little bit more on the bottom there, and maybe at the top. I pulled out this red brad, and then also this chipboard arrow. I remembered I had some Christmas what are these, enamel dots, so I decided to use that instead of the brad. It was a little bit easier. And then now I'm going to put down the numbers, and there are 5 of us in our family, so I'm going to have a number for each one of us to put down our favorite movies. So after I'm done with this recording, I go and ask my kids and my husband, what their favorite Christmas movies are, and I write them down, and you will see what what they decided on their favorite Christmas movies and everything are. I knew my husband's without asking, but my kids were a little bit harder. I don't know why, but we don't watch a ton of Christmas movies, but I kind of want to change that up this year. Okay, you can also see I just used some spray mists, and those are from the store. Those are Shimmer's paints in Bamboo Leaf, I believe is the green, and then what is it? Bed of Roses is the red. So I will leave links below to all of my products as well as to my blog post. And you can see here I am just outlining the word Christmas because it wasn't showing up very well. And I really like how that turns out better. So thanks so much for watching today, you guys. I hope that you will come and join us over on the SpiegelMom Scraps blog. For this month, we will be focusing on our December daily or December tradition albums, or however you document December.